Welcome, everyone. You are about to embark on a journey through the universe as you indulge in this extraordinary essence of enlightened, empowered, evolved. Let the show begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Just in time. Greetings, everyone. I'm Luke Bryan Smith, and welcome to Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved, where we educate, motivate, and liberate you through enlightening dialogues, empowering music, and evolving content. I know everyone's doing well, and everything is unfolding perfectly. I'm excited yet again because my next extraordinary guest holds a BS in psychology and an MS in clinical mental health counseling. Also, a licensed counselor associate, and has her own business entitled Manifest Growth Therapy, PLLC, and a whole lot more. But without further ado, allow me to introduce to you Dita Garrett, but also known as Dave, right? Davy.
Davy.
Yeah, Davy. How are you doing today, Davy?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. How are you, Luke?
I'm doing fabulous, and even more fabulous now that I'm connected with you, because I love connecting and just chopping it up with new people. I love it. So
Yes.
yes, I want to say before I even get started that I am a firm believer that time is one of our most precious assets, and for you to choose to spend a moment of your time here with me on Enlightened, Empowered, Evolve, I just want to extend to you my sincerest gratitude. Thank you very much, Davey, for being here at this present moment.
Thank you. And thank you for having me here. So
Absolutely.
gratitude,
So
appreciate
I told you I was going to ask you that. So
it. Yes.
how did you acquire that name, Davy?
So Davy came about. So it's actually short. It's actually
Okay.
my first name short.
Oh,
But when
okay.
I guess started my spiritual transformation, if you want to call it that,
Right.
I came up with that name,
Okay.
Davy, because it's a new I guess version of me.
Okay.
So I
I like it.
created also a YouTube channel based on that.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so uh that's where I educate people on all things psychological.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
and my newest channel, I do like tarot.
Okay.
But I
Tarot
don't
cards.
read. But I don't read.
Oh, okay.
I just it's like an experiment channel. So
Okay. That's good. I
yeah,
love it. I
yeah.
love it. But
So
yes, that's the short for Devetta, right?
yes.
Devetta and yeah, Dave. Davey. I like how you came up with that. That's nice. Yes, I'll
Thank
give you a
you.
little just to share with you for us to get to know each other a bit better. I'll give you a little insight on the name Luke. So when I was younger, I lived in the neighborhood, and it was a lot of kids my age, and I just had this entrepreneurial mindset. So I would cut grass, do anything, to make earn a little money, wash cars, you know, go around knocking on doors, asking, can I do chores, whatever. And so the kids start calling me Loot in regard to like money. They go, Loot, making
Wow.
this money. So
Wow.
it just stuck with me. And I just kept it
Yeah.
and just stuck it on my name and just embraced it. I've kept that name throughout underground rap career, and then
Okay.
transition to making more positive rap now, and to just elevating myself. I'm older now, but I'm not ashamed of where I come from. I'm not ashamed
Right.
of who I once was. There's some things that I would have probably think I would like to do different, but everything contributes to who I am now. So I really can't change anything. So I'm not trying
Right.
to hide that I was once known as really known as Luke. So I kept it and just
Good.
put it on
I
my
was
name. Just put it attached to my full name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I was wondering how you came up with that. I was like,
Yeah. And
is it money
now,
related or no?
now look, now I have changed the meaning of that name loot, because if you really look up the word loot, it means to steal, to take, right? So
Ah,
I say that I take knowledge from those who have it and give it to those that don't. So
Yes, I like
yeah.
that.
So the
I like that.
Robin Hood of consciousness, Robin Hood of,
Okay.
personal development. That's how, I look at it now.
Okay. I like that. That's interesting. I like that. I like how you um change that. I
Yeah,
mean,
flip
just
it.
like your
Yeah.
name say, evolve, enlighten,
Yeah.
empowerment. So
Right.
yeah, I
Right.
like how you did that.
Yes, yes. So let's just get right into it. Davy,
Okay.
I want to know, give us a little insight on your journey to getting a BS in psychology and an MS in clinical mental health. What led you in those, directions, and just give us paint us a little picture of your journey of, education, long or short.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to make it short.
Okay, fine.
But I was a pharmacy technician for over 15 years.
Oh, okay.
The at the time when I made the decision, I might have been a pharmacy tech for maybe 10, 11 years or so. Maybe no, maybe 8, because I was in school for 8 years. So about 8 years, somewhere around there. I can't even tell you. I was a pharmacy technician for a long time.
For a long time. There you go. You
Yes.
summed it up.
And so one day I left work. I was working at this company. It was a AIDS healthcare foundation. And one day I was like, I came home and told my then boyfriend, now fiance, uh, I said, "Hey,
Congratulations.
thank you. I'll be getting married in August."
Yep. Tell him,
Yes.
hey, if you
Uh,
put a ring on it,
yes, he did that.
or somebody else will. No, I'm just playing. All right. So I'm sorry.
uh, that's okay. I came home and I told him and I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do something else. And he said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to be a counselor. So
Mm,
he asked me this
okay.
question. Now, if you ask me that question today, the answer would probably be no. It depends on what I'm doing. But he did
Mm,
ask me, he said, if you could do it for free, would you still do it? I said, yes. And he
wow.
said, well, it's time to go back to school. So at my big old age, I will not tell, I went back to school,
Hey.
believe it or not, to a Christian college,
Mm,
Grand Canyon. And I went straight through. I actually started on my birthday. So I was
mm,
like, really? Y'all going to start me school on my birthday? So I started on my birthday, went straight through the master's program, no breaks, went straight into the master's program. And about 8 years of studying.
wow. That's a long
Yeah,
time.
straight studying.
Mm,
um, and it was like, I mean, as like when I was young, I've always had a desire to help people. So I'm not surprised that I ended up here.
mm,
Let's just say that.
yes.
Um, I kind of figured that I would end up somewhere around this area.
Mm,
So
right.
that's how I got into education.
Wow.
And after that, after graduating with my master's actually, I just graduated July of 23
Oh,
with my
wow.
master's in clinical mental health counseling.
Mm,
I did some more studying because I had to get my license. So
mm,
I studied from August all the way up till it was time for me to take the test. Believe it or not, it was on November 1st. So
wow.
one. And
Wow.
I went in, sat down, and I passed.
Mm,
I passed. But the lady at the test, I remember her asking me, well, let me know, what your score is. And I was like, I promised my fiance that I wouldn't look at it without him. And when I got home, I initially thought I failed because he read the numbers. I had him read the numbers and I didn't get that close. And I'm like, oh my God, I failed. I almost cried. And something said, no, look at the paper.
mm,
When I looked at the paper, it said pass.
mm. There you go.
I cried. I was like on a natural high for like a week. Like
Absolutely.
it
Absolutely.
was it was like the most rewarding feeling. So I'm like, can't nobody
Absolutely.
tell me I can't do nothing
That's
now.
right. All that hard work you put in, that perseverance, that steadfastness, and it paid off. And of course,
Yes.
after putting your head in those books like that, for long periods of time, and then to to succeed. Yes,
Yes.
I could imagine how you felt.
Yes. I
Yes,
was excited.
amazing.
I was jumping for joy. I was like,
Yep.
yes.
And it's true. You are a true testimony that you can, whatever you put your mind to, you can do it. You can do it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
when we put limitations on ourselves, and so no, nope.
Yes.
Nobody your worst,
Yes.
nobody's your best cheerleader, better cheerleader than yourself, or your, opposer than yourself. So I mean, other people
Yes.
can add to it. Like your fiance, you're blessed enough to have somebody there that really, is supporting your journey and your dream, and that is
Yes.
important as well. But when it comes down to it, you got to do it. They can't do it for you.
Yes.
They could cheer you
No.
on, but you can't. They can't do it for you.
Right. Right. Right.
Yep.
That's what I said. It can be done. It can be
Yes.
done. No one can
Yes.
say I can't. If you say you can't, you won't. If you
That's
say you
exactly.
can, you will.
I like that. See, if you say you can't, then you can't. If you say you
Yep.
can, you can. And
Yep.
that's right. Just do it.
Like
That's
Nike.
amazing. That's amazing. So
Yeah.
yes, give us some insight on the idea, a little insight uh beforehand, just of how you came up with this your business, Manifest Growth Therapy, and give us a little
Yes.
framework.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, just paint a little
Yes. I'm
picture
so
about it. I
glad you
want to hear it.
asked me that question.
Yes.
Oh, because I love sharing this story with anybody who asks. So,
Right.
um, it's spiritual. Like I said, I was raised up in the church. After
Mhm.
after my grandmother died, it was kind of hit and miss,
Right.
and then it was a kind of no all the way around. So I kind of just did away with the church, not because of I didn't believe in it, but because I didn't feel any growth coming from it. And when I
Mm.
say growth, I mean spiritually as a person. But I've always been a big prayer. My mom my mom had this weird idea that I was going to grow up to be an evangelist. And I used to tell her, no, I'm not. I'm not going to be that. And in a weird way, she was right because that's exactly what I do. I
Mm.
went into counseling to help educate and, you know, empower others and
Right.
help them understand that they can achieve, they can have anything they want, they can manifest anything
Mm.
they want, as long as they believe in it, right?
Right.
So, um, going back, my mom was going through something and she asked me to pray for her, and I prayed for her.
Right.
And the next day she said, did you pray for me? I said, yes. She was like, well, it worked. You must have a direct line to God, because every time she asked me to pray for her, it works. I think that was the realization I had, that, wow, there's really power in what you say, right? So
Exactly. I agree.
then I started that journey to
Mm.
becoming a better me,
Mm. I like it.
right? And going through all my trials, all my ups and downs, failed relationship, jobs, and
Mm.
just being a mother, all of it brought me full circle when I got my license. Like I said, it was 1 1 1 11 1.
Mm.
So I'm a big numbers person. I pay attention to numbers. There's a reason why.
Too.
So
Yep.
when I saw that, I was like, this is it. What I asked for it's come to full circle. What do you want to do now? I said, I'm opening my business.
There you go.
And so I named my business Manifesting Growth Therapy,
Yes.
because I feel like I'm a self-proclaimed manifester. I call myself a master manifester, meaning
Okay.
whatever I say I want, I'm going to get.
Get it.
And I believe it wholeheartedly. I even have it written on my whiteboard back here, and it says, your mind believes what your mouth speaks. So be kind when you're talking to
Mm.
yourself.
Ooh, that's powerful. Say that
So
again.
your mind believes what your mouth speaks. So be kind when you're talking to yourself.
Ooh, yes.
Yes.
Double down on
So
that. Yeah.
yes.
Yep. No, I
So
live by
that's,
that too. And
yeah.
and if I fall off it, I quickly, I have the consciousness to push myself back right. Like, oh, don't say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't say that.
Yeah, don't say
So
that because that's
that's
what's going to
where,
be the truth. You know,
yes, and you don't want
you're going to
to.
speak it into existence.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. And so that's pretty much where I got my business name from, to help people understand, like, you know, if you want it, you can have it. And let me
Have it.
help you get there, because there's a nice how I would say, like a marriage between counseling and spirituality.
Right.
It's what I call it, a sweet tango, you
Okay.
know, um,
I like that.
a ebb and flow, a give and take of each one. Um, and I feel like when they both walk hand in hand, your life can be as beautiful as you make it, or as chaotic
Right.
as you make it.
As you make, see,
So,
let me hit a pause right there. See,
okay.
that right there is very powerful. And that's what it's taken me a long journey to realize. And I love to highlight that life is what you make it. So whatever you're looking for, that's what you're going to find. The
Yes.
lenses that you look at life through is how you're going to see it. It's
Yes.
easy to look at life and say that you're a victim or this other person is doing this and this and that, but we have choices. Remove yourself,
Right.
complaining. Yeah. So I got another saying. If it can be fixed, why are you complaining? If it can't be
Correct.
fixed, why are you complaining? You know what I mean?
Right.
So love what you just said. I love that.
Thank
It's taking ownership and responsibility and accountability for your own life, your
you.
own
Yes.
circumstances, and not
Yes.
placing blame on the devil, not this person or that person, in which,
Right.
in certain, you already know how we grew up. That's what we blamed
Yes.
everything on,
Right.
was the devil, even though we took these paths, and our attitude and the way we spoke was death, was
Right.
poverty, was
Right.
was sorrow, was gossip, so
Right.
then we wonder why we drew all these things to ourselves, then we want to blame it on the devil,
Everything.
blame it
Right.
on
Everything
everybody
but
else.
right.
So I love that. That's why I had to highlight and put more on that because that was very powerful.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So that's my business. I love it. I like helping people is my thing, I guess.
Right.
That's where I find my mojo.
There you go.
So,
No, that's
um,
nice. I love it.
and it's young and old, young children as young as 6. I feel like that's where we need to get them or reach them first, is when they're children. That's when those
Yes.
chakras are building. That's when the grounding is happening, the creativity is happening. All of these things are happening when
Right.
you're young. And if you can plant those seeds now
Right.
when they're young, they
Yes.
can grow up and we can eliminate them having to go through so much struggle like we did, because we had to learn it when we were older. So that's my goal,
That's
is
another
to teach
powerful.
people how to get out their own way. Really.
Ooh. And I always use that too. Get out your own way when we learn to get out of our own way. And
Mhm.
that's another idea, not idea, but point that I would like to highlight is that, when we're in our formative years and we get all this trauma and stuff, then you're going to spend the remainder of your life trying to unwind all that stuff. So if you can, you'll be ahead of the game if you can get some of this type of thinking and mindset cultivated in you at a young age. It will save
Yes.
you a lot of time and
Yes.
you'll have a lot more joy. Not saying we'll always, I believe the way life is, we'll always encounter some setbacks because that helps us, to grow,
Yeah.
but we won't have to undo so much, uh, to me, in my
Right.
perspective of trauma, growing up with the right cultivation and mindsets and
Yes.
things that
Yes.
is mindset that inspires you to know that you can do whatever, mindset to watch what you listen to, watch what you say. I didn't know about any of that because I spoke the opposite growing up, and I'm not, this is not a blame, but this is just for context and just for awareness. We didn't know, the family didn't know any better. They
Right.
the generation before them, spoke
Right.
the way they spoke, and that this is all we knew. But now that we know better, This is one of the reasons why I am inspired to create this podcast. Get this out there, you know,
Yes.
to not only our own people, just everybody, if we can collectively have, that mindset, knowing that everything that we do, it's not anybody punishment. We punishing ourselves because there's
Right.
a reaction to, karma, whatever you want to put it, to whatever we speak, whatever we do. If we can get that out there and people really embody it, I think just the whole world would be a better place. Everybody
Right.
take responsibility for their own actions, words, behavior, everything.
Right. I
Yeah,
call it the boomerang effect. Whatever you
absolutely.
put out there is going to come back to you.
Absolutely.
So if you're putting
Nobody,
greatness and
right,
education out there, it's going to come back to you.
right. Nobody is
So
punishing you. And it's
no,
it's it's a reflection of your own actions, thoughts, deeds, words. Yeah. So
everything.
everything,
And I
everything.
think that's the hardest thing for people to accept is
Right,
like, it's not the system, even
right,
though a lot of, people want to blame the system. Well, the
right.
system is, like I explained to people, the system is what the system is.
Is right.
You as one person cannot change that.
Mm,
So what are your options?
right,
You either conform and be better within that system, or you lay dormant and you not do nothing with your life.
right,
So
right.
what are you going to do?
And
You're going to create.
that's an amazing uh uh concept. That's an amazing point. And I just want to even add to that, because what I like, and I would like to say in my perspective, is I would like to call you a person that is part of the solution. And
Right.
that's what I pride myself on, even though you'll have, and I won't even call them pessimistic. I'll put that for contrast, but for
Context.
context. Um, Thank you, because I was stuck
You
like
go for
contrast. No, that's not contrast. It's for context that I've had people tell me, "Well, how you really helping people? What institutions you open up? What money you give?" I said, "I do give money, but at the same time, you got to start with freeing the mind first, because
right.
you can be free and have $1 million. If your mind's still locked up, you're gonna end up broke in a couple of years,
Yes.
So that's what I'm doing. I'm helping to uh attract people that are on that similar frequency, similar goals, to elevate people's minds, liberate minds, So that to me is one of the most powerful things that you can do to anybody, because it's almost like
Yes.
that. It's almost like that term: give a man a fish, he'll eat for one day, but teach a man to fish, he'll eat for life. So
Yeah.
speaking is very powerful. People underestimate that. They think all you're doing is talking. Well, if you really listening and learning and absorbing from the talks that I'm doing, then you'll understand you can do for self, you know?
Right.
Yes.
And that's another thing. People always look for titles,
Right.
right? People always looking for titles to validate the next person. So
Right.
much so in society, we started looking for titles to validate ourselves
Absolutely.
when we don't need titles, because we've all been through experiences. Through our own testimonies, we can help save somebody else. You don't need a title to do that. You don't have to open a school to do it. You don't have to open a counseling practice to do it. You
Nope.
can literally minister to people on the street. You can walk out your door and do it for free. There is, I feel like knowledge is free and you
Mm,
shouldn't have to pay for it. So
absolutely.
if I have it, I'm going to share it with you.
Absolutely. And you
So,
know what? Another thing too, another way to teach people is just by your own example. When people can see
yes.
that you are and this is my perspective right here. This is from my own experience. I say that I have a lot of flaws, but I'm aware of them. That's the key. And I acknowledge them. So that's the first step to working on them. If you
Yeah.
don't know that you have a problem or think you do, how you going to work on it? So
Right.
everybody that's around me, they're not going to be able to say that, oh, he thinks he's perfect or nothing like that. They know I'm
Right.
not, but they know one thing: he gets back up on that horse and he starts dusting himself off and working on himself again. And that's what Luke does. He works on
Right.
himself. He reads. He has high level um habits, that I do daily. I got some
Yes.
discipline and just, they see that. So that's another way to elevate people, I think, too, by leading by your example,
Yes.
as well as like you said, out on the street. And I'm one to when I'm anywhere, I always find somebody to just meet and talk to. That's just me. I'm a
Yes.
people person. So I talk to people, if somebody look like they having a bad day, how you doing? Everything all right? I'll talk to people like that. That's just me. Now, if they're
Right.
receptive to it, fine. If they're not, I'll go on. It's not going to damage my day. Okay, I
Right.
get it. You don't want to be left alone.
Right.
I get it. It's fine. That's your right,
Right.
Keep on moving. But I always attract people to have conversation. I'll be at the grocery store or wherever, and I'm talking to somebody in the aisle, about
Yeah.
something. And then next thing you know, oh, you from there too? Oh yeah, I used to live over there in Ohio, and so I always find stuff.
Hmm.
So yeah, you can reach people anywhere.
Yes. And personal growth is important, very
Right.
important to every aspect of what it is you're doing in life, like personal
Absolutely.
growth, like just understanding, like you said, what are my flaws?
Mhm.
Um, how can I make it better? And then understanding how to work with those flaws.
Right.
Because people I think people feel like they have to change every aspect of themselves to be better. And that's not what self development is. Self development is understanding where your flaws are and how to navigate through situations that bring up those bad habits. So if you're in a situation where oh, well, normally when this happens, I get real angry. Well, you know that now it's not about changing who you are, it's about improving that situation. So now it's like you said, let me check myself to find out why I got angry,
There
because
you
it
go.
probably has absolutely nothing to do with them and
Right.
everything to do with me.
Right.
And then when you understand that, you know how to work within the confines of your own flaws.
I
And like,
like that.
okay, I'm not going to let it upset me.
Right.
It
Or
does, but I'm not going to show it,
right.
So it's about understanding what they are and being better in situations that bring them out. I mean, that's just the way I look at self-development
No, I
in all.
totally agree, and thank you for that perspective because that's very to me logical and it's very doable.
Yes.
And yeah, it's not so much at trying to rid yourself of that, but to be able to work through it in a better way.
Yes.
You know,
Right.
not trying so hard to say, "Oh, I can't get angry." Well, you can, but try something
Right.
different. Try
Right.
being quiet, counting to 10. Try
Right.
walking away and go drinking some water, then come back and say what you got to say. What something, you know?
Right.
It doesn't it doesn't uh it allows you to still acknowledge the way you feel, but then at the same time, look into it like you said. Why do I feel? Why is this triggering me? Why am I inspired to react this way? You know?
Right.
And yeah, and then start a little bit at a time. Say, okay,
That's it.
this time I did get mad, but not as mad. I got mad, but this time or angry, but I didn't yell,
Right.
So then next time do something even better than that, you
Right.
know? Yeah, just working on
Yeah.
yourself. And
Working on yourself.
it's a process.
It is. It's a
Right.
process. And people
Right.
need to always remember that they are human. You're gonna always have these emotions. Something
Mhm.
is always gonna trigger you. And it's not about feeling bad about having a reaction to something. It's
Right.
about not sitting in that energy,
I like that. Yes.
accepting the situation for what it is,
Yes. Right.
acknowledge that you are upset, and then let the energy go. Work through it and let the energy go. Not stand in it, because staying in it creates arguments, it creates verbal arguments, fights, physical fights, it creates a whole bunch of chaos and negativity that you don't want. And it may not come then,
Right.
but
It,
like I said, this is a boomerang effect.
Right.
it's going to circle back. So
Yeah.
it's about acknowledging that, hey, I'm human and my feelings are valid, and I can get mad if I want to, and it's
Right.
okay. I'm gonna go
Mhm.
and reassess why I was so angry, and then I'm
Mhm.
gonna let it go. I'm not gonna sit in that energy.
Right.
So
Plus, that's not healthy for internal things. Can turn into diseases and just it can do
yes,
mental damage to you. Just to hold on to that and like you said, stay in that energy. Get out of it
yes,
quickly. As quick as you can.
yes, as
Yeah.
quick
Yeah.
as you can.
Yeah. So give us while you're here, I do have your links, but share it with us while we're here audibly, how people can find you. Website,
Okay.
few links, whatever you
Okay.
to share.
So on YouTube, you can just type in at Davy 44 because
Okay.
there's a lot of Davies. My website for my business is www.manifestinggrowththerapy.com. My YouTube is the same, Manifesting Growth Therapy PLLC. Y'all go follow that page.
Yes, yes.
It's for all things positive.
All right. Yes. Be sure to look in the description of this segment and go to those links. Go to Davy's links and check her out. So I
Yes.
appreciate you. I just want to say, just thank you for bringing amazing value to myself and to this podcast and to everyone. I'm sure that's listening and or watching it. Watching, I appreciate it. The time went by fast, but when you are in alignment, and having these high vibrational, what I like to call high vibrational, empowering conversations, it
Yes.
just it feels good, like therapy,
Yes.
in medicine.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it just is good. I love to engage in positive dialogues. I think it's good for your mental health and everything,
Everything,
emotional
every
health,
aspect of your
everything.
life,
Yeah,
everything.
everything. And
So,
I
yes,
send to you much more success, and just
thank
thank you
you.
for being a light and being an example of what you stand for. You can do whatever you want, and you speak it and just do it. You're a prime
Then do
example,
it.
and I thank you for being that.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Manifesting growth. And
you.
hey,
Yes.
that's me. I'm a master manifest.
Yes, ma'am.
And
You
one
are.
thing is for sure. If I ask for it, I'm gonna get it.
You're gonna
So
get it. Yes, ma'am.
yes.
I see it. Yep. So thank you everyone for watching and or listening. I appreciate you all for spending some of your time here with us. And be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave comments, and share this. Help the platform grow as well as get these amazing messages and dialogues out there. And again, look in the description, hit those links. And yeah, I appreciate you. Until next time, love and appreciation, enlighten, empowered, evolve. See you soon.